with racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights and content. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
Hello and welcome back to Punters Inside Run for 2023. Great to have your company once again. We're looking forward to a wonderful year's racing. It's only really the second week of January. Sometimes that used to be pretty quiet in racing, but it's a huge weekend of racing right around the country. Mick Sharkie joins me. Great to have you back, Shark.
Hello, Matty.
How was Christmas, New Year?
It was good. It was very good. A good time with the family, a few fish, bit of sun.
You love a fish.
Yeah, I do love a fish. The whiting were very good over the summer, so there's plenty of them around in Western Port Bay. But yeah, like most people, we eat and drink a bit too much. And you never know, Matty, this might be the year I just let myself go.
We have to concentrate on the races. And as I said, sometimes January's quiet in sport, but what a weekend we've got. The Magic Millions we're going to concentrate on shortly about the racing, but it's a carnival, isn't it? The sales, a lot goes on at the Gold Coast this time of year.
A lot's been going on up there already. You had horses escaping and running through the main street.
True.
Talk about taking it to the people. They were right out there in the peak hour traffic after the beach run
The week before they were swimming with the bull sharks.
Swimming with the bull sharks. So it's a little bit like Equine Survivor up there at the moment, isn't it? Some of the challenges the horses are taking on, but really good card of racing. I think there's some standout bets on the program. The 2-year-old race is really open, I feel. So yeah, there's some good punting to be had.
Yes, we'll find some tips at the Gold Coast. Also, James Lamb from punters.com joins us to talk about the racing at Flemington. They've got the Group 3 Standish over the 1,200 metres there. And Nick H in his farewell appearance. Oh. Week 1 farewell. How do you work that out? But anyway, he's going to join us to talk the racing at Rosehill. But let's get stuck into the Magic Millions. It's a huge day, as we said. Over $11 million in prize money. It gets bigger every year, the Magic Millions. The 2-year-old race, it is wide. A lot of the favourites drew wide, so it made things very difficult for punters.
Yeah, it's a really difficult race to assess. I think there's two ways to think about it. The standout performances from the Jim Crack and the breeders were Platinum Jubilee and Empire of Japan. They both resumed and they were both beaten. And I think punters sometimes think, oh, it got beaten. Maybe it's not that good.
We drop off.
They drop off a little bit. But you've got to remember that this is the grand final race. It wasn't the first up run. That was the race that brings them on for this one, which is worth, as we know, $2 million. So game day, big grand final day for Empire of Japan and Platinum Jubilee. Then you've got the likes of Sovereign Fund, who's just been winning, Royal Entrance, who's just been winning. There's some horses down towards the bottom as well, like Skirt the Law, just been opening fields up in Queensland. Okay, not to the standard of this field, but it's been winning by 5 and 6 lengths. So very, very interesting race, lots of different form lines.
These 2-year-old races at the coast can be really sort of mad helter-skelter because those horses that are drawn wide are trying to get cover and trying to get to the front. Is this going to be a mad helter-skelter race this year?
Yeah, I think especially with some speed drawn wide, Sovereign Fund out wide, a couple of others out there, you know, they're going to have to push across. I think you look back at the record of this race of the winners, they jump from usually a low or a good gate, and they usually, watching the replays, settle 3rd, 4th, 5th, just in behind the speed. They're natural speed horses that probably don't have the absolute engine to gun it early and get across, other than Hootson, who jumped from the wide gate the year she won and led all the way. I think you just want something on the back of the leaders that pops out at the top of the straight and goes. All
right, where did you land for your top 3 for the 2-year-olds?
Well, I'm hoping Platinum Jubilee's that horse. I can't get that Jim Crack win out of my mind. It was phenomenal. You know, with 200 to go, she was still 5 lengths off them and she wins. Now, that was a heavy track. We saw her jump, go to the front when she resumed. I thought it was a really good return. I think she's that horse to land in that box seat position, and hopefully she's got the turn of foot at the end of the race. Really, really keen on her. I think Skirt the Law is in there with an undeniable chance. And the other one that I wanted to touch on was Sunsource. Great win in the Ballarat Magic Millions race. And then in a slow run race behind Sovereign Fund, just didn't know how to get around that corner. The blinkers go on here, low gate. Mark Zahra on. I think he'll run a race too.
Well, I've ended up with Skirt the Law, the horse you mentioned that has been doing really, really well, winning by good margins, up against lesser opposition, but drawn that barrier that you talked about, drawn barrier 4, and I think 1200's no issue. You
have to believe your eyes sometimes too, don't you? Just with the ease of those wins.
The easy wins, Empire of Japan's got, the Snowden's got a good hold on this race, and J-Max decided to stay with the Empire of Japan and looking for that 1200, I think. And sometimes with these mad helter-skelter races, you need just a tough horse strong, tough thing at the end. And I think Infatuation for Bjorn Baker might be that tough one that could be there right at the finish after that speed battle has gone past. So I've got Infatuation to run third. Which leads us to our next Magic Million race, the 3 and 4-year-old, the Guineas over the 1,425 metres. Just as difficult, I think.
Yeah, I think really difficult race. There's the horse in the race, though, that I think is an absolute standout bet. It's not massive each way odds, but I can't see Russian Conquest missing the top 3.
Okay, yep.
Her good track form is really, really good. Her only poor runs have been on wet ground. I think off the back of that first up run where she absolutely flew to the line at Wyong, I think this is definitely grand final day for her, but I think she'll run a super race. James McDonald up, a middle gate. Hopefully she doesn't get too far back. I think she'll just go and win the race.
You're not on the Yellow Brick Road? 5 wins in a row.
Super hard
Betting
to beat.
suggests that it's still there.
Yeah, super hard to beat. And the good thing about Yellow Brick Road, he'll land up on speed, so he'll kick and do his thing, and it's the horse to run down without a doubt from the 200. Just a matter of whether Russian Conquest is good enough to chase him down.
All right, so I've got a feeling you've got Russian Conquest on top.
Yes.
Your other two.
Yellow Brick Road in for second, and then
It's
of
Yellow
course...
Brick, but I just call it Yellow Brick.
Oh, sorry, yeah. It just lends itself to that, doesn't it? You start sort of going
I start
down
singing too.
Do you?
Yeah, not now. Later.
Oh, I thought that was a little segue to something. King's Consort, number 3, the old Leneva Park favourite. I've got to throw it in there. Yeah, the homebred, he'll go in there.
I've got your question to whether I'm going to sing. Hell I am. I've got Hell I Am on top. Won well first up. Unlucky in that Gosford Guineas, which I think is a really good form race for this. It's got good third up record, and Jamie Carr takes the ride. So I've got Hell I Am on top. Russian Conquest, you've mentioned everything there, comes as discussed, that same race, the Guineas. And I've got Tijuana. I know it's a drift in the betting. It's a real drift in the betting, but I just think can run really well fresh, not far off a Group 1 winner. So Tijuana.
Saturday night, after a big race day at the Gold Coast, Broadbeach might feel like Tijuana at about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
It may well do. Any other bets on the Gold Coast for you before you get to that party?
King of Sparta, I really like it in the sprint. I think it's a standout bet in the sprint. I think the best value is Diamonds in the mares race. Her 2 wins in Adelaide in stakes level, the Christmas stakes she won last time. Huge from the back of the field. She's in form, she goes there and she runs around at 13 to 15 to 1, something like that.
I've got my other bet there is race 4, number 2, Scalapini, our good old friend Scalapini. One on the way to a spell and has a really good fresh record. I'm expecting big things with Mark Zara, a big race rider on board. And a value bet, not huge value, it's coming a little bit, but deficit in race number 3. Like the way she worked to the line, dropped 6.5 kilos on that win last start, so deficit for me. All right, that's what is going to be a huge meeting at the Gold Coast covered. We'll take a break. James Lamb from Punters.com will join us to take a look at the Standish and the card at Flemington.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.